Hello everyone, this is LLTep. You may know me as LLSpy, and this is a Coming of the Horde replay cast. Unlike my previous video, this assumes you have some previous knowledge of Coming of the Horde and therefore will not be covering any particular basic concepts. So I will begin by briefly showing the various players in the game, which I'm sure some of you will be familiar with at least some of them. And yeah, here we go. Here are various players, and we'll of course be playing without the fog of war. As you can see here, the yellow player is on point and immediately intercepts the north side clerics. And so the medium player has chosen Tychondrius, while light blue has chosen Ner'zhul, brown is Grom, and the last hero is Soul Jin. Red has chosen Galen, and blue has chosen Khadgar, teal has chosen Duke, purple has chosen Kel'Thas, green has chosen Sylvanas, orange has chosen Bran, Ignatius has chosen Errogol, and the grey player has Tyrion. Pretty normal picks. Maybe Kel'Thas is a bit of a lower tier, but something unexpected, and the Horde is sort of trying to rush blues out of defense, which is very prevalent, especially if the alliance is not on point, but in this case it seems to have been managing to counteract it pretty well, and this is essentially feeding, but at least he managed to trap and kill all the clerics, so maybe it was worth it. And here we get a fairly standard sort of 2 Horde for blue and 2 Hordes going north. Let's see what's going on here. So yeah, light blue setting up a base, brown setting up a base, meanwhile yellow and presumably the remaining Horde player will go north at some point. But yeah, looks like dark green is going north as well. Looks like blue is preparing an outer defense, which makes sense, but in high level games such as this one, it can be dangerous. Especially if you're not careful to sort of make sure you counter the Horde harass, which is almost certain to come, and you can see here, light blue is already beginning the sort of obnoxious bombardment, which is a very good strategy. Meanwhile, it looks like the dark green and yellow players are preparing to attack Ironforge, so we'll try to keep an eye on that as well. But yeah, light blue managed to take down the gate, and blue player is trying to sort of deal with his harass by using his mages and using Khadgar. And that's the good effect. He managed to take out some catapults and sort of wound a significant portion of the Horde army, and meanwhile the brown player is starting to harass the north as well. Meanwhile there's something going on here. Looks like red has killed a few Fel guards, but nothing particularly interesting going on up there. Yeah, looks like the alliance has sort of realized that orange is first up on the chopping block. See how this initial Horde attacks works out. Looks like dark green here gets sort of lured by the cannon tower, but he notices in time and pulls back. Yeah, looks like the assault is on the way on Ironforge, but at least one alliance player already noticed, and yeah, here they sort of come piling in. Let's see how it works out. So yeah, so far so good. The orange is doing a good job of sort of blocking up the choke, but if yellow player is paying attention, he'll sort of swarm in once these units die. That didn't go too well, but he's sort of pulling back, so it's not particularly damage hiding. And he's sort of lurking here and keeping the alliance occupied while not taking too much damage. And getting some free kills there, but there's some unit charging out. Meanwhile, the Horde at blue is sort of getting a move on and destroying the gate with a massive blob of spear throwers. And meanwhile, light blue is attacking the bottom gate. There has been some casualties on both sides, but it seems like the alliance came up ahead and Ner'zhul almost dying in process. We are back to the Ironforge defense. You can see their Horde is wisely attacking both the entrances at the same time, and they're bringing down the towers with their artillery and trying to sort of destroy various artillery and of the alliance with their dragons, but it doesn't work out too well because the Warren riflemen are defending them. Yeah, this is a curious mortar tank strategy. Presumably it was out laying in mines and was sort of caught in the act, so to speak, and really shot up for the Legion troops. And this early in the game, orange is really starved for gold, so these are units you can't really afford to lose. But it seems he's doing alright at the moment, although yellow is currently streaming in a few more units, so maybe he'll manage to sort of break the top at this point. Meanwhile, at the bottom, it looks like the light blue player has finally managed to sort of break the bottom mantras, and apparently brown player helped him out because he has a whole bunch of catapults. And yeah, so both the outer gates of Strongman has fallen, and seems like a decent amount of the defenders managed to retreat, so we'll see if he can sort of be arranged for a second defense. Certainly losing all these catapults is not ideal. Wow. Not much going on up here, so yeah, we'll go back to Stormwind, see what's going on. See if anyone has bought any interesting items yet. Urgol is sort of typical mana regeneration items, and so does Duke, and so does Urgol. Of course, you got the Realm of Energy, which is a very useful item indeed. There's a massive AoE from Ner'zhul, and some nice silences and fireballs from his mages. And it looks like someone is teleporting in here, so it's Psychondrius, so maybe they're gonna do a sort of 3-man push on Stormwind while significant portions of the Alliance is still in Ironforge defending against Dark Green. Now Psychondrius, of course, is not particularly strong at this stage of the game, so maybe he can sort of get Duke here, but he chooses to go for the mages instead, which I'm not sure I agree with, but it's not a terrible choice, although this really hurts. So yeah, Psychondrius gets demolished by the sort of mage damage of Khadgar. But the Horde is sort of pressing in, and this is starting to look really grim for the Stormwind defenders. So yeah, but it's not quite there yet. You see, these troops managed to avoid some of the blizzards, but it's not enough to secure the attack either. So we'll see what happens. Looks like the Horde is sort of constantly streaming in more and more units, and the Alliance units are really faltering, so perhaps they'll get it this time. See Khadgar there get a sort of chain CC'd, and Deathwing is really scared at this point. He could probably just sort of fly in and attack all these mages and attack all these heroes without worrying too much. We'll see if that happens. You see Blue sort of streaming out his knights one at a time. Yeah, here he goes. Not sure why he's attacking Duke here, but you know, maybe he's busy mapping something else. Meanwhile at Ironforge, looks like they're held off for now. Some grey knights managed to run in there from running past this, I suppose. And Galen dying, I guess he was stuck outside the gates. But yeah, this looks like the end of Stormwind. There's only a handful of sort of injured mage heroes in here and no melee units, so once the gates break, the Horde will sort of flood in and kill them all. Also, strangely enough, the Horde has almost no melee units either, so it's a sort of curious ranged battle. Tyrion goes down here, it's sort of being CC'd by the Warlocks. And yeah, I don't know. Ner'zhul getting chased down by a knight, but maybe he can weasel out. And he does, it's just a sort of sliver of health, and maybe the Alliance manages to keep their throne for now. Meanwhile, there's something going on at the pass. There seems to be a sort of small legion attack, but they don't have any buildings, and there's a decent pass defense, so this probably won't achieve much. Maybe he got sick of attacking Ironforge or something. And you can see he's getting standard agility items, looks like a Wolf Hunter's Guise as his first item. Meanwhile, Ner'zhul is going for a Wand of the Wayward, which is a very useful mana item, and you can see here the Horde is sort of swarming into the final throne room of Stormwind. And this time I would be highly surprised if the Alliance manages to sort of pull something like a sort of great AoE from Tyrion there, but not enough. The Urgol dying, Sylvanas dying, and there's really not that much Alliance troops remaining. There's 2 towers, but yeah, see sort of building mages and casting Blizzard. It's always a sort of questionable strategy because you can get some kills, but you also feed the Horde kind of hard, so it's a bit of a sort of balancing act. You see, this last one didn't even manage to cast Blizzard, so. But yeah, that's Stormwind gone. Seems like Khadgar's gonna rest one final time, and kind of the same principle here. He gets some, you know, free feed, but he also feeds the entire Horde experience, so. Meanwhile, the Dark Green attack on Ironforge isn't going that great, but at the same time, he sort of really draining the Iron Forge player of all his gold, and no, it's not feeding terribly either. You know, the Iron Forge player has decent. I mean, this is actually really important to sort of run by. If you do this manually, you can oftentimes sort of sneak in significant units, but if you sort of stand around in a ball over here and get sort of AoE nuked, this is extremely dangerous. So yeah, let's see. Assuming there's gonna be some major navalage on both parts, so the brown players building up and the teal players building up, and the sort of purple players on the move as well with his air force, as well as the teal air force. Same time, looks like someone is taking out Red's farm, and they also managed to take out the orange farm. Let's see if we can kill Bran here. Looks like maybe not. Maybe he's going for it. Yeah, he gets healed by Grey there, and that's probably enough to save him. Yeah. And looks like this is a catapult block going on here, but looks like yellow is on the way towards the northern pass to Iron Forge. And if you can sort of get these down and sort of run all this stuff in before he gets nuked by AoE, it's very potent, but apparently he can't, and he sort of wisely pulls back. So yeah, let's see what's yellow has going on. Those Sylvanas has sort of normal items, Keltas has lots of common items, looks like a lightning save or something. Galen has no items, yes, he's presumably saving for something. Orgel has a bunch of mana items. Guardian, yeah, talked about him before. Tivin Rosa has a Helm of Energy and some tank items. Bran has Veteran's Blade, which is a bit of an odd choice. I'm not sure what he's gonna do with that. But yeah, the Horde is building sort of massive navy. They're not taking any chances to getting sort of out-navied by the Alliance, which is something you never want to have happen. Yeah, looks like it's... yeah, I think the Horde sort of have this one in the bag. So we'll try and keep an eye out on the sort of land battles. I'm not sure what's going on here though. Yeah, this is gonna take some time, so meanwhile there's a massive naval battle going on with all sorts of air units and brown and light blue ships. But it looks like the Horde players have significantly larger navy, so this should be a fairly one-sided sort of Horde sweep. But there are some Gilnean ships sort of streaming in, so maybe they can turn the tide. There's also a bunch of Stromguard ship out here in the east, but and some Legion ships. So yeah, the entire Horde is currently building in ships. You can see yellow is here, dark green is here, brown and light blue is down here. So yeah, as I said before, the Horde isn't taking any chances, and this is a very common and very popular strategy because accidentally losing the navy as a Horde is extremely obnoxious, and then the Alliance spends 40 minutes of the game sort of spamming out boats, and by the time you realize you only have Kultiras left, you know, the entire Alliance faction has like 5 nations that are all navy capped, which is extremely obnoxious. But that's probably not going to happen this game. As you can see, this Horde navy is significantly larger than this one, and even though they're sort of pumping out ships as fast as they can, I don't think there's going to be enough in time. And you can also sort of tell that there's really nothing else going on. There's a shade here sort of spying on Iron Forge, and that's essentially the only sort of contact the various factions have on land. So it's a full navy game right now, and the Horde is really winning, so the Alliance probably should stop building ships altogether, because at this point they're really just feeding. Although they might manage to sort of rally up the top, because there's no frigate here, and a long way for the nearest frigate to sail. Meanwhile, it looks like yellow is going for red, which red might manage to pull something here, but I don't think so. Starting to look pretty grim. And yeah, so the Kultiran sort of southern shore is secured, and yeah, here comes the brown landing force with Grom and Marshal Guns, and comes the Burning Blade Warriors. It's probably not long for this world as he's almost out of gold, and he has literally 2 units of supplies, so maybe it's like a mage somewhere. And yeah, the sort of lost remnants of the Alliance Navy sort of been cleaned up at the same time. The pass is still relatively well defended and hasn't been attacked for a long time, but with the Horde naval dominance, it's unlikely that they're gonna get much use of it. And yeah, the Red Navy has been destroyed as well. So yeah, there's a bit of a down. I'm not sure what this tower is. It's a pretty unorthodox strategy, but maybe it'll pay off. Maybe we should take a look at the Horde heroes. So we have Soldian here with a Thunder Fury, which is a very strong item, especially on Soldian because of his high attack speed. And Tychondrius moving towards green. Usually a pretty tricky base to kill on your own as yellow if you have Tychondrius as a hero at this stage of the game, but maybe just went for the farm and then going away, so we'll see what happens. The Horde is still very sort of coordinated and not attacking anywhere without securing Navy first. But yeah, looks like the Alliance not really trying to defend Hillspread, and it's not really to be expected either, so Hillspread is gone and blue is sort of retreating here. And this sort of signals the rest of the Alliance to abandon a mountain pass of Alterac because they don't want to be flanked and they also need to defend their home cities. Meanwhile, Deathwing is attacking a tower, which is putting up a pretty valiant fight, but I think Deathwing wins this one. Maybe? Oh yeah, it's get saved by these ogres now, so it should be fine. Meanwhile, Gutierrez is getting attacked by Brown. And yeah, he's not doing so well. Deceived manages to pull some miracle here, but he has a very limited force, so unless he gets reinforced fairly quickly, this will be a short rush. But someone is teleporting in, so perhaps. Yeah, that's actually a lot of teleports. Which is handy, but it also means that there won't be that many people available to save Gilneas, so we'll see what happens over there. So yeah, this sort of mass teleportation saved, or at least saved Gutierrez for now. But yeah, let's see what else is going on. I'm not sure what Yellow is doing, but let's go back to this fight and see what Grom is doing. So he's got the Wolf Hunter Skies, which is a very strange item and some good tank items, so yeah. He'll be pretty hard to kill at the moment. And yeah, he keeps going for heal. And someone else is teleported in, so Soldian is there as well. So yeah, this will be a pretty clutch fight. You can see Grom is using his ultimate and he's really sort of chopping up his alliance units. And together with the Soldian and the Ogre Lords, it should be a pretty clean sweep of the Terran base. Grom does go down, but he's done his job, so to speak. And yeah, this is the end of Kultiras for sure. And Soldian will easily clean up this up. So let's go to Gilneas, where light blue and Tychondrius are attacking. And it looks like they're doing a great job as well, so they're killing the melee front and just barely sort of preventing them from swarming in. Looks like they're actually being blocked by their own skeletons, but now the melee front is dead and Tychondrius is in. He's not quite high enough level to sort of really cleave through stuff there, so he goes down fairly quickly, but the Alliance has taken quite a bit of damage, and if Ner'zhul can get some good AoEs here, he'll really clear up this backland. But for now, it looks like he's gonna pull away. At the same time, Kultiras is gone, so there's a lot of Alliance heroes dead, which is why they're all teleporting to Gilneas. Let's see if we can sort of take out Ner'zhul. Yeah, it's close with Argal and Galen aiming him, but he's on the run and he might just be able to make it. Yeah, looks like he will. Yeah, let's see, Galen got the first item, his Wolf Hunter's Gaze. He also has boots, which is nice, so he can sort of run around. The Horde is really stacking up the mana regeneration combined with his Death Sedge, which is a great item for Argal, because it boosts his mana damage and also negates magic resistance. Tychondrius is back, but again he's not quite strong enough yet, so he can sort of not really charge in. He just shows out his sort of AoE and hangs back. But it looks like the entire Horde except Soldian are here, so they should be able to make something happen. Grom is a bit braver than Tychondrius and goes for it, and we'll see if he gets some lucky slice and dice procs and sort of spin to win. He does a decent enough job, I guess. It would be nice if he could kill Sylvanas, and he does, but yeah, that's the end of Grom. Meanwhile, Tychondrius is still sitting outside. But yeah, the Alliance forces are not doing so well. There's nothing but sort of casters left, and even this sort of handful of ogres is really doing a number on them. And meanwhile, there's a massive attack going on in Ironforge with Soldian trying to sort of launch a sneak attack while all the heroes are busy at Gilneas. And it can certainly work, especially if he can sort of sit in the back and sort of chunk down these heroes while being out of harm's way himself. And he does kill Duke fairly quickly and manage to really injure both Bran and Galen. But looks like he's fairly low on troops, so he probably won't be breaking through at the moment. Meanwhile, Gilneas is still sort of hanging on by a thread, but it won't take many more units before this is gone. And you can see the Horde sort of teleporting in again. Yeah. So Dark Green is preparing for a second wave and is getting a repeated crossbow on Soldier. It's probably going to be Maniacs later. Some Alliance play trying to teleport in here, but changing their mind. And at the same time, Bran also has a Thunder Fury, so very good item for rangers, especially agility ones, which have fast attack speed. Let's see what's going on here. So this is getting pretty dangerous. Orange Hill has a lot of troops up here, and he has this grey knights as well, so he should be able to hold this choke if he's paying attention. So we'll do a quick check over to see what's going on in Gilneas, but it seems the Horde isn't quite ready yet, so we'll come back. It looks like the Alliance is doing pretty good on the southern front, but the Legion player is now attacking from the north. And here's a large number of Alliance here, so you have Bran and Tyrion and Duke and Sylvanas and Galen, so there's more Alliance here than there are Horde, relatively speaking, which means they'll probably manage to do a decent job at defending, but they'll probably sacrifice Gilneas for it. As you can see here, light blue is sort of going in. Don't think they'll be able to save themselves this time, although maybe. Yeah, I think definitely seals the deal for them. We'll go back to this place. So yeah, the Iron Forge is actually being overwhelmed as well. You can see a Grey sort of mass healing Tyrion, but the Horde players are teleporting in, and you see this is Grom, and I assume Soldin is still alive somewhere. Maybe it's not actually. Yeah, so I guess Soldin did go down, but the Alliance players are trying one sort of desperate defense, but Brown is here and has his ultimate ready, so he's ready to carve up the Alliance, and it looks like even more Horde heroes are teleporting in. Meanwhile, Duke is sort of given up and is teleporting out, which might be the wiser choice. Looks like Galen has the same idea, and Tyrion as well. So that's the end of Ironforge. And at the same time, Gilneas has fallen, so can take this brief time of relative inactivity to look at the heroes again. So Ner'zhul is getting a greatsword and a veteran's blade. Again, a pretty strange item build, but it's not a terrible one. And Grom is getting more and more tank items, so he's going to become really difficult to kill. At the same time, let's see what Sullivan got. He still hasn't bought a second item, although he can afford one. And what's Tychondrius doing? So Tychondrius and Grom actually has very similar builds, which it's not strange since they're both melee agility heroes. So, anything else that's interesting to talk about at the moment? So yeah, Aragold still come with the mana build. Of course, not gonna change it. It didn't kill Teal's farm, which is a bit peculiar. I know that some players actually like to leave farms on purpose because they believe it sort of makes the Alliance prone to sort of spamming out units they don't really need and feeding, but we'll see. Meanwhile, the Horde is also preparing to attack Dalaran, which has a decent defense, a very nice and sort of spread out one, which is good versus AoE heroes like Ner'zhul, and of course Deathwing also has an AoE. Meanwhile, the rest of the Horde is preparing to attack Stromgarde, it seems like. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on down here, so... Yeah, the workers still around, but... not doing much, I think. So we'll focus on this place. This is a... interesting sort of wall of towers here. They almost look the same with the new Gilnean red and the Stromgarde original red. But it doesn't look like the Horde is too keen on attacking red just yet, so it's sort of harassing at purple, and not sure what brown and dark green are doing, but I'm assuming they're gonna go and set up somewhere. You see there's no dark green barracks here, although it does have a worker. There's no brown barracks here. Oh, never mind, here they are. So it looks like brown and light blue are going for Dalaran, while dark green and yellow are going for Stromgarde. Brian's sort of shooting these Bat Riders. We did get the towers, but meanwhile there's this sort of catapult harass going on, and Keltas is getting a lightning stave, and not sure, this is a urn actually, which is somewhat of a rare intelligence item for people to get. But again, it's not like an awful one, but you probably rather get something with, say, like a wind sight or a ran off the wayward for the various boosts rather than summoning a bear, which is basically a glorified knight in my opinion. Yeah, there's some harass going on here, but at this point in the game the heroes are starting to become so powerful that sort of normal unit harass is becoming more and more difficult. Meanwhile, Khadgar gets a bit too greedy with his harass and he dies for it. So yeah, that's not great for him. There isn't really much going on right now. I'm not sure why, but looks like Lordaeron is well prepared for an assault as well. And there's some brown units going this way, so maybe brown is going for Lordaeron instead of Dalaran, which is a good strategy. Generally, the Horde wants to sort of spread the alliance, where the alliance rather everyone fight in one location. So we'll see how it pans out. Looks like they're pinging a bunch of brown units who are standing around doing nothing. Meanwhile, Dark Green is still sort of arduously moving his entire army from Ironforge to wherever he's going to attack. He's also taking down Alterac, which does spawn some units, and this is my meme message, I guess. You see Utsulin also got a second ultimate, which reduces armor, which is very nice. You see Khadgar is back, so you can check his items. He has an Arcane Wonder, which is a great support item and a great casual item, so no surprises there. Yeah, there's some harass going on back and forward, but nothing special. I guess the Horde is actually playing really disciplined and sort of coordinating all their attacks, which is extremely important. And Kael'thas too is too greedy with his harass and he gets taken out, so the light blue player is actually doing a really good job managing both Ner'zhul and all his Warlock and Shaman casters to take out these harassing Alliance heroes. Meanwhile, Grom wishes he had a range AoE attacks, so just standing around. But yeah, looks like there's some back and forth going on outside of Lordaeron as well, with these towers being bombarded by Alliance catapults. Here's all the Alterac troops running around. So yeah, looks like Dark Green actually built a base outside of Stromgarde after all, so maybe there will be a sort of united attack. Sure looks like it, so hopefully we'll see some action. I'll just check very quickly, so nothing going on here, not much going on here. Yeah, so this looks like the main battle for the moment. Sort of mass air attack going on, maybe a little bit too quickly and getting sort of quickly dispatched by the Stromgarde range unit and getting plundered by Duke. But this is a very clever sort of Zeppelin drop. You can see if well, the last unit there didn't manage to get out before the Zeppelin crashed, but at least his Titanius got out, and you can see he's really doing a good job at clearing up all these units while the various Horde units stream in from both sides. And there isn't really much hero focus going on at the moment, although with Galen and Sylvanas here they can probably take out Titanius. So yeah, you can see as Titanius is becoming tanky and it's becoming increasingly difficult to kill for the Alliance, and this can be a really big problem in the later stages of the game, as Titanius is extremely powerful passive ability which heals him every time he kills a unit. You can sort of run him off when he cleaves through a large number of Alliance troops. But while Titanius falls, Suldin is still here and the right side is still pushing while the right side is failing. And while this is all going on, there's been a sort of massive attack on Dalaran as well, and you can see Kael'thas being shot down by Ner'zhul again. Ner'zhul takes quite a bit of damage, but he comes out winning in this engagement, and he even manages to pull out Deathwing with about 88 points. There's also an attack at Lordaeron where Grom is sort of dueling it out with Tyrion, but not really much going on either way. Aragorn is also there to lend support. So yeah, it looks like the assault on Stromgarde has failed, but with massive costs for the Alliance, with most of the units dead. It looks like the Horde is preparing for another assault, and a few units here getting sort of over-eager and trying to chase down Suldin, but that's didn't work out too well. So let's see here. So Sylvanas has Blades of Agony and an Amani Throwing Axe, which is a pretty normal build. Maybe a bit strange where there's no Thunder Fury or Corrupted Edge, but nothing so obscure either. And Duke also has a pretty common build. I'm a bit surprised about this Blood Moon Plate because there's only one Spellcaster on the Horde. But again, it's a good armor anyways with Agility and armor. And yeah, it looks like the Horde is sort of overwhelming Stromgarde and their forces sort of hastily retreat, and hopefully they can sort of shut this gate in time. We'll see. Close it. Maybe they can trap Tichondrius. Yeah, that looks like the plan, but at this point he might actually sort of kill everything inside, so... And this is actually really nice with Soldier on the sort of low grounds and support me, so you can see Tichondrius is sort of taking advantage of this and really trying to sort of get into the corner so Soldier can help him out. And he does manage to take down Galen, but Tichondrius dies for it. Meanwhile, there's still sort of back and forth going on at Dalaran with not really a big attack, but a lot of sort of hit and run AoE attacks with both Ner'zhul and Deathwing sort of spamming out their AoE abilities, and Kel'Thas dying yet again. He's not having a good time. Meanwhile, Grom is in sort of the middle of Lordran and really sort of carving up all these range units, but he's slowly but steadily going down, but he's taking down a lot of Grey units with him. It looks like Grey closed the gate to trap him, so that's something he probably won't have next time, as the Horde is very likely to smack down the gate. Although at the moment they're not attacking us, so... Oh, never mind, here they go. And yeah, at the same time, Red is sort of bucking this. You can see the Horde is doing a really good job of sort of always attacking at the same time and always making sure that the Alliance heroes can sort of pile up. And you can see here Galen has chosen to abandon Strongguard as he realizes there's no hope of saving it, and he doesn't want to feed Suldin any more experience, and he absolutely has to. So yeah, Suldin getting some damage items. Looks like he's going for a bronze sword. Meanwhile, there's some harass going on here at Brown. Now that the Red is dead, there's a bunch of Alliance heroes that are sort of freed up to do what they want. And at the same time, looks like, oh yeah, these are the Alterok traders, and looks like Yellow is moving to attack Green, and indeed he's built a base. I assume he shipped some unit over. And yeah, he's taking out the outlying towers. So let's see, there's some battle going on here at Dalaran. It looks like most of the purple mages in the sort of front section of Dalaran has been taken out and been reanimated by the Death Knights. Meanwhile, Ner'zhul is sort of dangerously low, but it just barely manages to sort of defeat Argol, and maybe he can escape before he gets killed by the magic aura. We'll see. It's gonna be close for sure. Kind of weird because it sort of ticks a bit, and he doesn't make it. Even though he's actually outside, it does kill him in the end. And meanwhile, Green is getting completely overrun by the yellow player. You can see, we will see if he can manage to stabilize, but it doesn't look like he, and Tichondrius is sort of chopping up his base and killing Bran and killing most of the units. He really shouldn't be standing around hitting this golem, and indeed he sort of changes his mind. And unless someone really teleports in right now, this looks like the end for the Quel'Thalas Bay, which is quite unfortunate. In addition, you can see that Orange Worker and more importantly Teal's Worker is here, and this worker can no longer be replaced since he's dead, so that's a nice sort of bonus there. He didn't have a chance to escape. He did have cannon towers, I believe, but he wasn't enough. Meanwhile, the sort of back and forth is going on at Lordran. No one really doing much of anything, but it's still an effective strategy because it keeps sort of Alliance players sort of sitting around in the base at all times. Meanwhile, it looks like Dalaran has recovered, and since there's only Dalaran and Lordran left, the Alliance heroes are sort of piling in, so let's see what they have. Oh, never mind, looks like Brown is on the move again. So we'll see here. And yeah, that's just more of a harass than anything, sort of hit and run. So Tyrion has mostly tank items, and Duke looks like he's going for Starlight threats, which is very nice, especially since he still has his farm. He can sort of teleport a bunch of musketeers. Let's see what else going on here. Looks like Light Blue is attacking again. He's doing a really good job of sort of AoEing all these units down. And you can see he has actually gone for Ner'zhul that's sort of auto-attack heavy. But in this case it didn't save him, but he gets blasted by Aragorn and Kel'Thas. Here you can see the sort of bear that's summoned by the urn, which is not something you see that often anymore. Let's see what's going on here. So yeah, so Soldier has gotten his bronze sword, so he's really getting up there with the damage. It's very squishy, but if you can sort of sit in the back and shoot at people, he will really shred them. Here's the Grom sort of charging in, but wisely changing his mind and leaving again. Meanwhile, the Horde is sort of building these towers so they can keep the Alliance on the inside and prevent them from ever chasing their heroes. And you can see here that Duke is sort of trying to kill him with just AoE, which you can eventually do if he keeps at it, but that means that you have one hero that's not doing anything except sort of standing around and using AoE on towers. Meanwhile, there's some sort of back and forth still going on at Dalaran. So, what do we have at the moment? Looks like brown and dark green are going for Lordaeron, while light blue and presumably yellow will be going for Dalaran. Yellow is still sort of reorganizing from killing green. Apparently it swung by and killed area peak, which is not necessary for a Horde victory, but it does give gold and item points, and oftentimes it's not defended anyway, so it's sort of quick smash and grab, so to speak. If you find Tychonus, you can see he has full health, so there probably wasn't much, if any, defense. He's also getting quite a bit of items. You can see he now has 4. He's a Soul Ring and a Bronze Greave as well, which is a pretty nice choice, especially the Bronze Greave for sort of dodging and True Strike and getting some armor and movement speed as well. So it's a really nice sort of all-around tank items, which also helps a little bit with damage. And again, Zul also with the Battlethirst Helm for attack speed and the Thunder Fury for auto attack damage. So I see it's a really good auto attack as well. Not as good as Solian, of course, and you can see Grom here doing sort of sneaky drop from the battlement and coming in from the south side. And the Alliance doesn't really have a particularly good hero killer here at the moment, so Grom can sort of really chop through these units without too much resistance, and the Alliance is sort of split because they really don't want to abandon the gates and sort of let the Horde units flood in, but they don't want Grom to sort of carve out their range units like this either. Meanwhile, Sultan is sort of safely at the back with full health, sort of axing away at whatever it feels like. And yeah, Zul almost dying again, but he's still sort of keeping up the harass. You can see here he's landed his W on Sylvanas, and it looks like there's a major assault going on, so we'll see what happens here. You can see that the yellow player is very wisely chosen to use the Unholy Frenzy on Tychondrius, which gives him even more attack speed, although he did take some serious damage from Kael'thas' ultimate, but not enough to kill them. And you can see the Alliance is sort of chain cycloning him here, but if he kills just a few units, he will start healing again. You'll see he can manage to pull it off. They're gonna be close. So close. So you can just punch Khadgar with one more time. He might make it, but actually gets sort of shot down by Sylvanas. Meanwhile, Bran is dangerously low, and he's actually gone for a Venom Strike, which is a very good item. He's randomly taken out by a catapult, but it's a good item against Horde heroes because it deals sort of continuous poison damage, and it's one of the few items that actually debuffs Horde heroes. So. Meanwhile, there's sort of constant battle going on in Lordaeron. Solian apparently died, so they don't have any sort of hero kill pressure at the moment, and the Alliance heroes should be able to clean up these units without too much issues. And indeed, you see the sort of AoE going down from Grey here, and Galen sort of chopping them up, and Duke sort of chopping them up. But some hero, Grom is here, and he has a cleaver now, so he can really deliver the hurt if the Alliance is not careful. And meanwhile, it seems like the battle is sort of raging on. Grom, however, is out of luck and he gets shot down rather easily. So we'll go back to Dalaran, which is not doing so well on the other hand. Looks like Khadgar here is getting shot by some Satyrs and a bunch of Legion units, and he's sort of hiding in this corner because he can't escape, and he's sort of waiting for death, and here it comes. That's the end of Khadgar. And there are some towers here, but I assume this will mean the outer level of Dalaran is lost, but there are some units at the inner level, so maybe they can sort of reform for a second defense, and you see Orange has his worker here, so he can build some new towers. Meanwhile, there seems to be some strange stuff, not sure how this unit died. And sort of Peon's mass repair in this turret as it's being attacked by catapults. But yeah, it looks like the assault is on the way again. See if Tychondrius is in here somewhere. Yes, he is. So he could really bring the hurt here if he's not being focused properly. Did get banished, which does increase magic damage, and you can see that Argal and Kael'thas is sort of really laying on the magic damage. So yeah, looks like he's going to go down here, and yeah, he does heal one more time, but you can see that Tychondrius is becoming more and more powerful, and at this point it's becoming increasingly difficult for the Alliance to kill him. And let's see, it looks like the Horde is preparing for another assault, but I don't see any. Oh, never mind, Grom is here. I was about to say I don't see any heroes, but yeah, Grom is here, so with no Grom at Lordaeron, I assume that the next sort of major attack will be in Dalaran. And it's actually a very potent strategy, because as you can see, there's a bunch of Alliance heroes sort of standing around in Lordaeron waiting for an attack that's not coming. So, yeah. Let's see if there's anything else interesting to check. You can see that Nersu looks like he's getting sick of being attacked by various spells, so it looks like he's gone for a Glacial Shield. Meanwhile, let's see if Sordin has gotten anything interesting. Looks like plated boots, which is a bit of an odd choice. Not sure what he's gonna get with those. Maybe Soul Guard Slippers, which is a bit of a strange choice, which maybe he's getting sick of getting hit by spells as well. Meanwhile, looks like Sylvanas is going for sort of pure damage items now. Bran also going for a Silver Sword, which is bonus damage and crit. Kael'thas getting more spell damage, more intelligence items, and he's finally gotten a wind sight, so he and Khadgar and Aragorn can sort of chain Cyclone heroes like Tychondrius and Grom, and it's really obnoxious because they don't really do much. And you can see here that Dark Green is attacking up with Lord Drone. I thought, maybe not, but for some reason one of the alliance heroes teleported away, so maybe it just went to bring more units. Or maybe he gave up on hope. Maybe he did, because it looks like he teleported his worker out of Dalaran, so... Not sure what that's about. But yeah, so there's some sort of minor harass going on, but the Horde is sort of massing outside of Dalaran. It looks like the Kael'thas is back, but he's chosen to leave his worker in Lordaeron. Meanwhile, there's some sort of harass going on outside of Lordaeron, because the Alliance has noted that there are no heroes there, so they're sort of harassing a bit. And this is really potent, as you can see. It can sort of really cripple the entire Horde army, bringing most of the units down to below 50% health by losing a single knight. But meanwhile, the Horde is attacking Dalaran, and you can see here Gromness uses ultimate and charging in, but he's currently being cycloned. But Tychondrius and while they're focusing on Grom, Tychondrius is sort of shredding the backline, and as you can see, even with these sort of cyclones, he's really healing very rapidly once he kills something, and the Alliance who's still here don't have enough damage to sort of kill him anymore, so this looks like it's the end for Dalaran. Also, that was a nice cue from Khadgar, but you can see as soon as Khadgar dies, Tychondrius gets all his health back that he lost from the Khadgar spells. And yeah, this is the end of Dalaran, and this time the orange worker dies, and this time he can't rebuild it, so no more cannon towers. And Kael'thas versus one more time, just to quickly die again. I think in this case he maybe is trying to sort of rush out his ultimate, but in this case it would have been much preferable to sort of cancel the resurrect. So yeah, we're 18 minutes into the game and there's only one throne left. Tyrion getting some more tank items. What else is going on? There's some harass going on, and Galen getting some more agility items. Now, Galen's ultimate really boosts his agility, so despite the fact it doesn't have that many agility items, he can really lay down the hurt if he gets the chance to sort of stand around and attack something. You can see this is sort of air harass going on. And it looks like the Horde is sort of preparing for a final invasion. You can see Ner'zhul has gotten his glacial shield, so he'll be a bit more safe against various spells. And yeah, it looks like a sort of soldier drop, which is actually surprisingly powerful if you can sort of put him in a corner somewhere and can sort of attack without anyone noticing. And at the same time they're dropping Grom while Ner'zhul is sort of harassing at the front. And we'll see if he manages to sort of distract enough of the Alliance, but it looks like the Alliance is sort of caught on to Grom, and indeed when he sees Sylvanas he sort of retreats and they sort of go for the main gate instead. Yeah, this is, you know, the entire Alliance and the entire Horde at one place, so this choke is really getting blasted by sort of all sorts of AoE spells, but Grom is sort of landing on the top. Now Galen has a ability called Disarm, which actually stops Horde heroes from attacking for a while, which is extremely obnoxious, especially for heroes like Grom, which are extremely dependent on how they're attacking. But you can see how Grom sort of chops down Sylvanas, and then he chops down Duke, and he chops down Galen more or less, and then he runs around Rosie and a bit of scrub gate close here from the Grey Player, trapping Grom on the wrong side, so you can sort of run up and kill all these units. Meanwhile, there's a Tychondrius is landing in the south. I presume he's set in somewhere, and he's sort of really tearing up the units, and the Alliance can't kill him at the moment as Sylvanas and all their damage dealers are dead. So he's really tearing through the Alliance lines, and they're sort of realizing and pulling back. And here you can see the soldier drop. Yeah, presumably the Alliance will close this gate and sort of try and reform for sort of a last stand at this location. Oftentimes when they sort of out the gate fall, so many heroes fall that the second level sort of falls right away. But in this case it looks like they might be able to hold on for at least a little while. But yeah, so Galen has a Skull Shield, which is a very nice item, which gives both attack speed and blocks damage and give life steal to both the Galen and every Alliance melee unit. Unfortunately, in this case, there aren't that many melee heroes that sort of benefit. I guess Duke does, and he doesn't have life steal, so it's actually a pretty big deal, but, you know, Sylvanas and Aurogel and so on don't benefit. And yeah, let's see if the Horde can do some sort of interesting teleportation going on here. And yeah, Bran getting a flute, which is another nice item that also boosts attack speed of every Alliance unit in the area, which is a very good buff. You can see the Duke seems to be getting stuck here. Maybe he'll die, maybe he'll sneak out. Looks like he makes it for now. Meanwhile, the Horde is sort of pushing both points and Icon sort of running in, and you can see when he pops his Glacial, no spells work on him, and during that time he can sort of really demolish large parts of the Alliance. But once it wears out, he gets sort of chain nuked and CCs and goes down rather quickly. Meanwhile, Ner'zhul is sort of hanging at the back. He's sort of injured. At this point, his potions sort of lose effect, so he's sort of sitting there chugging down potion after potion after potion, trying to get more health and even sort of throwing down these healing wards. What else is going on? Let's see. Another bear. Zul'jin sort of camping at the top. Looks like he's getting even more agility. As you can see, he's more than twice the bonus damage of his sort of base damage, which is pretty insane. You can see Grom is actually really tanky, but combined with the cleaver and his sort of natural attack speed boost from his ultimate and the slice and dice, which is a sort of whirlwind, you can actually deal surprising amount of damage anyways. Meanwhile, normal units are pretty useless at this point. They're sort of just being ground down by the Alliance here, but Burn's cooldowns and presumably Grey is sort of running low on gold, so still has 5,000, but if Grom or Tychondrius gets in here, you can really sort of chug up all these knights. And the Horde is massing this sort of massive army to prepare for a final onslaught. So yeah, I'm not sure how Aurogel died there. Guess he sort of overextended and tried to trade with Zul'jin, but died for it. But in return, Sylvanas managed to take out Zul'jin, so it was a worthwhile trade. And Tyrion at this point doesn't really do much damage, but he's a great tank, so he's sort of running around trying to block the Horde heroes. Meanwhile, it looks like Tychondrius and Ner'zhul are preparing to attack from the south, while Orgrim and I guess Zul'jin, even though he's dead, sort of going top. Which is a nice strategy to prevent sort of massive clogging in one lane. And you can see the Grom isn't really doing that good of a job cutting down these heroes, but he's extremely tanky, and you can see that all these Alliance heroes are sort of shooting at him and netting him, and it's still really taking a long time to kill him. And in the meanwhile, you see that Ner'zhul is really making a move on the southern end, and I assume Tychondrius is lurking about somewhere. Yeah, there he is. He's looking for his moment to just sneak in. But yeah, Ner'zhul is doing a good number, sort of sitting around, using his AoEs. He's really taking a lot of damage, and it actually goes down, so not sure what that's about. Maybe he didn't see Sylvanas or something. So let's see if there's anything else to sort of mention right now. Nothing special going on. A bit peculiar that there are no Legion buildings. Oh, never mind, they're sort of over here, so it's not so bad. Yeah, so let's see what Bran is up to. Nothing special going on there, nothing special going on there. So yeah, looks like again the Horde is preparing for an assault, and the Alliance is sort of desperately hanging on for their lives. Looks like Duke has finally gotten a lifesteal item, which is very nice, especially since unlike all other lifesteal items in the game, the Skull Shield and the various lifesteal items actually stack. So this gives Duke's 17% life leech, and this gives him another 11, so it's given 28 overall. Which is pretty nice, especially, well, this is kind of dangerous to see Bran getting caught by this tower and sort of aimed down by these air units, but a timely shield manages to save him. So yeah. I'm a bit surprised that the Horde gives the Alliance this much time to sort of recuperate and prepare for the final assault, but not sure why. But maybe they're sort of plotting some schemes, or maybe they were out of gold, so they're sort of saving up for a bit. Although Light Blue has a lot, but the other Horde are pretty low, so maybe they're saving up or something. Or maybe they're just on a bathroom break or something, I don't know. It looks like Ner'zhul was waiting for Deathwing at least, and you see here Galen sort of running up towards Tychondrius, who's sort of standing around. and they're getting some sort of free damage on him. At this stage in the game, the Horde needs to be really careful because the Alliance sort of harass is extremely potent if you're not paying attention. But on the other hand, if the Alliance sort of harasses and overextends and dies, it could very easily cost them the game. So it's a very sort of delicate dynamic in the late game, and it looks like the Horde is finally ready for a sort of last mass attack. See how it goes. Horde, the Alliance is ready with the sort of lizards and a whole bunch of Silverhand Knights. And of the heroes, of course, there's nowhere else to be, so it's all about Lordaeron. See some air units sort of sneaking in the back and destroying these towers. It looks like Tychundrus is sort of in the middle here, and you can see he's in the middle of the entire Alliance army, but with his shield on there's no CC, so he's really cleaving up these units and healing back more than he can damage than he's taking. However, once the shield runs out, he gets sort of blasted. You see, yeah, and down he goes. So we'll try and focus on Grom and Zul'jin. And you can see Yellow being sort of upset about the Galen using his disarm on Tychundrus. So yeah, so Grom is on the move, he's using his ultimate and he's really sort of chopping up these knights. You see Tyrion can stop him if he doesn't look like it, he's sort of fleeing away. At this point it really boils down to can they sort of Horde range and sort of bring down Grom and take Tychundrus before they sort of shred through the entire Alliance. And looks like they might be able to hold on this one more time. You see the sort of chain cyclone is extremely annoying for the Horde player. And it looks like Brown does go down. And with Tychundrus and the Grom dead, the Horde doesn't really have a sort of front line anymore. And indeed, you can see they're still trying to sort of harass, but Ner'zhul and Zul'jin need to be really careful at this point, because without the sort of beefy Horde heroes and a bunch of units to tank for them, they can very easily get taken down, even with a tank out in like a stone path. Alyria probably kills Ner'zhul in like 3 seconds if she's allowed to sort of sit around and shoot him. You can see here Zul'jin sort of manages to catch Kel'Thas out guard and really kill him right away. And you can see just one hit from Zul'jin's axe takes like a quarter of Urgo's health or something, so it's extremely dangerous. Now Tyrion is a bit tankier, you can see Zul'jin sort of hitting him here and it's not really bringing him down. Meanwhile Ner'zhul has been out and drinking his potions and is ready to sort of AoE down these knights. And you can see that the Grey player is running lower and lower on gold, and eventually he won't be able to sort of mass produce these knights that are sort of blocking up the Horde. Meanwhile, you can see Tychundrus is back, he teleported from somewhere, so maybe he doesn't have an altar. It actually looks like it got taken out by the Alliance at some point, doing some sort of counter-attack on the outside, and sorry I missed that. So yeah, looks like another attack, and let's see here. Tychundrus and Grom and Ner'zhul are all on the bottom level, so maybe they'll try to sort of lure them up with Zul'jin and then go for sort of full punch at the bottom. Looks like the Duke got trapped and I just manages to sneak out, but he's extremely wounded and Grom is sort of running in and Tychundrus is here as well, so this is very dangerous for the Alliance. You can see that Red is sort of mass teleporting in, and indeed he does have the Starlight Tread for extra items, but these heroes at this point in the game are extremely hard to kill, and if there is a sort of slip up and Sylvanas and Bran are dead, so then the Alliance doesn't quite have the damage to deal with them, and indeed they do not. And this is starting to look grim for the Alliance. They're sort of pushing out at this end, but all the Horde heroes are at the bottom and they're sort of carving up the Alliance. And yeah, this is pretty much the end. You can see Galen almost dead, Khadgar about to die, Tyrion almost dead, Urgol full health, but he's in the middle of the sort of melee, so he'll go down any time now. And with all the Horde heroes recently, so yeah, Tyrion manages to sort of crutch Resurrect before he dies, and maybe Ner'zhul will go down to Duke, but yeah, Grom is on the throne. He might go down to Duke here, it's gonna be close, but no, he wins, and with that last Alliance here falling, this is the end of the Alliance. And indeed, you can see that all the players are calling out GG, and yeah, this is the end of the game. So yeah, I appreciate that you watched, and I hope you like it. And hopefully I'll see you next time. Now, before the end, maybe I should have changed the order of this. I will go over the statistics of the game really quick, mostly to see if there's anything sort of immediately odd jumping at me, so immediately we see that, let's see here. So yeah, all the Horde hero players are at the top when it comes to unit kills, and then sort of trailed by the Alliance, which is what you'd expect, especially in a close game like this one. So for heroes killed, again, you can sort of see that the Horde is all on top, and then sort of line sort of trails behind. So yeah, that's a pretty good game, I think. So again, thanks for watching, and Merry Christmas.